to Collectively Real, putting the real back in real estate. Real agents, real clients, real stories in real time. With Lindsey Fowkes and Jesse Kage.
Lindsey Fowkes, Jesse Kage. It is Collectively Real. Episode 2.
I know.
Look at us.
2025.
Well, I just think it's funny because it only took like 3 months between episodes. We're going to do this twice a month.
Consistency.
Right. It's key. That's
It is key, right?
Well, the good thing is there's been other stuff going on. That's why we haven't been able to do this. And some of that stuff has been holidays and things and such, and we'll get into that. But how the hell are you?
I am good.
Yeah?
I know. I feel like I haven't seen you in like a month.
At least a month.
Which is crazy.
And outside of the work thing, we're friends. And that's what's really...
We still haven't seen each other.
And that's what I'm saying. It sucks. And I was talking to Tony as her husband, and we were talking the other day, and we're like, every time we talk, we just talk about work. What the fuck?
I know. Like, can we get together and not talk about work? Yeah.
Let's just here. I'm gonna do this little shot right here. This
I
is
love it.
cheers to 25
Here we
right
go,
here.
right?
And there it is.
It's good to be in 2025, though. I'm feeling it.
It's fantastic to be in 25
Yes.
because 24 can suck a nut. Like, I mean, come on,
that
dude.
was brutal.
That
all
was
around.
crazy.
It was brutal. It is brutal.
Just all the way, by far my worst year in the business.
Yeah.
And a lot went into that.
Sure.
There was some personal things. There was business stuff happened. It went down that I wasn't a huge fan of. But yeah, 25 is going to be this year of renewal. It's going to be, strap the rocket to our backs and let's go. And I think that's something that a lot of agents are feeling right now. I know with Remax Collective, with the Kage Collective, that's the vibe, man.
Yeah.
People are excited
because
we are ready to put that, 24 in our rear view. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about the exciting things, man.
Yeah. No, and I think that I spent a lot of December kind of, a lot of shit happened last year, right?
Sure did,
Not that I had a terrible year per se in business, but I think there's just a lot that went on. So I kind of just wanted to digest, okay, what happened? How can we make sure that doesn't happen this year? But in the meantime, it was like you could just feel the energy changing, right?
Yeah.
And all of our clients are even like, all these listings that just kind of sat for 3 months, they've got showings, they're going under contract all of a sudden. It was like the floodgate, the penned up, like, oh my God, we were going to have FOMO if we don't list.
Sure.
What if the market changes? What if the hurricane happens? Like, we need to list now, which is great because we have all these buyers and, everyone's like, oh, there's no buyers. There are buyers. But the house has to be what it needs to be.
It needs to be priced appropriately.
Right? Priced appropriately, conditioned appropriately.
Absolutely.
All of it. You can't get away with that anymore.
No, the COVID times are gone, right? You're not just going and throwing up a piece of property and getting $100,000 over asking with an appraisal gap. These things are not happening.
Don't worry about replacing the roof. It doesn't matter.
Right. That is not the way this is anymore. And again, the last few months here in Florida, my God, we just had the hurricane after hurricane, and we've had some clients who are like, why is my house sitting? Well, at that point, it's because we just had 3 fucking hurricanes. That's why your house is sitting. I cannot control the fact that people are freaking the F out right now.
Yes.
I can't control that. But now we were just talking before we went on the air. It's one of those things where, okay, why is it sitting now?
Right.
And this is where we talk about pricing. It's sitting now because your house is overpriced. Yeah. It's sitting now, and we're seeing that with agents who are, and this may be you, who are afraid to have actual honest conversations with their clients. We've talked about before, I'd rather disappoint my client on day 1 than 6 months in.
Absolutely.
And it's when you talk about pricing, sometimes that's one of those things because they are very attached to their house. And I put $80,000 of extra, gadgets in my house in the last 3 months. Well, that's not going to be apples to apples. It doesn't work that way. No. We still have to price your home appropriately to move. Yes, buyers are coming back in. I think my favorite thing about January so far is in the business, everybody's like, I'm waiting until January to buy. I'm going to wait till January. And it never really happens that way. This January,
it's happening.
It's happened.
It's happening.
I had 4 buyer consults this week.
Yeah.
And people are like, yeah, we're going. And it's not just, hey, I want to dip my toe in. It's, hey, here's our pre-approval. And we'll talk about pre-approvals and all that stuff and the importance of doing that in a future episode to make sure that's the first thing you effing do. Yeah. But, you know, they're ready.
Yeah.
They've got money in hand. We've got down payments ready to go. And again, strap that rocket to our backs because we're going. Yeah. So if you're thinking about selling your home, yes, it's a good time.
It is.
You're thinking about buying a home. It's a good time.
Actually.
It really is. And not just outside of, hey, it's always a good time when you need to do it.
Right.
But there is, we'll get into interest rates and these things. Yes, there are obstacles to overcome, but when you're working with a pro, we can help get you past those obstacles, right?
And on both sides, the nice part about, being a pro is that you can tell your seller, you need to do these things before we list.
Correct.
Right? So I have as collective, we have all these listings preparing to list. So instead of going on and then being like, oh, well, what should I do to my house? It's not selling. No, there is an expectation of these buyers, which there should be.
Of course.
When you're paying double what it was a couple years ago, it's hard to swallow that you're going to buy a house that needs a roof and all the things that we could get away with. But now the listing agents who have skill and experience and are active in the market can say to them, look, you need to do this, 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 and this, and then list.
Correct.
So the inventory is coming. I can tell you personally. I mean, there's staging and repairs and all these things happening so that when they go on the market, they will sell for top dollar.
Absolutely.
And those buyers will want to buy that house because they don't have to do anything.
Correct.
So a lot going on, but it's exciting. I mean, you can feel the energy in the agents.
Absolutely.
I can feel the energy in the market. Even the buyers, even mortgage brokers and title people, everybody is like, ooh, we can feel it.
The change is happening.
We can feel it.
And we talk about rates today as we sit on, what is it, the 9th of January, 8th of January, whatever
my birthday
is.
Tomorrow.
Happy birthday tomorrow.
I know.
Or yesterday, or a year from now, because the podcast is evergreen. Whatever, happy birthday.
Whatever day it is when you're watching this.
Yeah, so interest rates like 7.17 today, the average.
Sure.
Where are rates going to go? There is the new little
what are they saying now?
Snippets.
The crystal ball is
right.
saying.
I pull out my giant crystal balls. They're average size crystal balls. My average size crystal balls.
What are they saying, Jesse?
Okay, so we're looking here over the next year. So 25, quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
This is going to be Fannie Mae, MBA, and Wells Fargo, and we're going to average these 3 things out. Okay. Yeah. So what the average they're saying for quarter 1, we're looking at about 6.62. Okay, so that's down. Let's hope that happens again. These are just those outside predictions, but feels like this is the way it's going to go, right? Quarter 2, 6.45%. Quarter 3, 6.32%. And then once we get to quarter 4, 6.3. So look, we're living in the 6s, okay? If you're waiting for the 3s.
I bought my first house in the 6s, and I didn't think anything of it.
Of course you didn't.
Right?
Because it's still under the average for, this is...
I sound like I'm aging myself,
right,
too.
Well,
You're listening to your
come
parents,
on, old lady. What's your birthday tomorrow?
They're like, I bought it. It was 15%.
Look, at the end of the day, it comes down to... Sure, it's not going to be 3% ever again, unless something tragic happens. We don't want it to be 3%.
No, let's not.
It's not healthy for the market to be 3%.
That's not okay.
We don't need that or sub 3s. You need to buy things that you can afford, right? So, and at that interest rate, when you need it, that's correct. And so, again, those days of that sub 3s, they're gone. So let's get realistic.
Yeah.
And as a buyer, and we've got all the tools to show you, you could come to us and be like, hey, look, we need this to be my payment. Great. Well, we've got these cool little gadgets with the collective where we can literally pull this up. Thanks, Milestone title.
Right. Yes.
Love you.
Love them.
Where in our phone, we pull it up and in 2.5 seconds, I can go, okay, this is what you can afford.
Right.
And then we can back it out from there. We'll get you with one of our lenders and let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. I can feel it. I love it.
100%.
I love it.
Can we backtrack for a second? We were talking about listings and getting the houses ready to go. I want to talk, and I'm going to put you on the spot.
You always put me on the spot.
I do. What is the craziest or most random thing that you ran into the first time you walked into a house for a listing appointment? So you go in, what was there something on the walls? What was that? What did you have to do? Do you have something on the top? I've got one if you want me to go first to let you think for a second.
Yeah, let me think. There's so many because let me tell you, it's been a while. But you go first because remember, I got into it in the dark days when short sales and all the crazy
yeah.
things happen. But
yeah, you had random people just sleeping in closets and shit.
Oh my God. Drug addicts coming down the stairs in vacant houses. I was like, But yeah, you go first.
Okay, so I go on this listing appointment, and super sweet couple, really, really nice. I had it was a referral, and I was like, great. So we go in and
got this.
Love this, gonna be easy. And I got my little presentation. We're like good to go, and they are embalmers.
Oh.
And so they work in like a mortuary and that kind of deal, and they love that stuff.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and there's just cases and cabinets with professional lighting on all these different embalming tools.
Creepy.
And just jars and things in jars. And
haunted house.
I go upstairs, and it was really cute. Like, I liked the gothic thing,
sure.
so like I was cool with it.
Vibe.
But I don't know that I could need that. Like, we've got like in our house, we have like a blood bag thing, like the old little thing. Whatever. It's kind of cool.
It's fictional.
Looking.
It's not like
This is like
my decor.
These items were inside dead people, right? I mean that's the reality.
Yeah.
And I go upstairs, and I go into the guest bedroom, and at the foot of the bed is this little coffin.
Oh, no.
Like a little coffin. I'm like, what's going on here? She goes, oh, it's a baby coffin. I'm like, what?
You're like, okay, so there's a big list for you before we list this house that has to happen before you show anyone.
I'm like, this is real intriguing and all, but all this shit gotta go. Like,
don't come in this room.
No, this has all got to go.
Oh my God.
Put it in the attic, do something.
Oh my God.
But that just kind of goes back to, we're going to come in and be honest with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, hey, there's a baby coffin that can't be here. That's not going to be good for showings. Or sometimes it's your house smells like dog or cat piss.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so you got to be really honest with these people.
You have to be honest.
And
but you have to, I think that being a real estate agent too is about being a chameleon, right? So I am a very blunt person, but I've also learned how to deliver that in a way that, it's very positive.
It's Lindsey bedside manner.
Yes, I'm sorry that your house smells like cat piss, but not really. But well, speaking of that, that's a good one. Okay, so obviously I've had a lot of those crazy cases, but
of course.
On that note, so I had this, it was a referral, right? So it was someone's dad's house, and I went over to the house, and because I've sold some houses in my day, I have names for them, right?
Okay.
So like I have the poop house, which was a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. But this house,
episode 4, the
oh my
poop
God,
cast.
it needs like its own episode. It was just awful. But I called it the smoke house because I walked in, and not only did it just reek, obviously, like the appliances, I went like this, the nicotine, every fixture, every refrigerator, like every appliance, everything was covered in this yellow slime. And so I had to and then when I sat down with the gentleman who was selling it, he lights up a cigarette and just starts smoking right in the middle of the house. And I'm just like, oh my God, how am I going to sell this house? And that was one of my first, most people were pretty good about, being clean and organized and whatever. But when I walked in that house, I'm like, how the hell am I going to sell this house? I mean, I had to hire. Well, that's when I figured out that, not only am I a real estate agent, but I'm a cleaning lady.
Yeah.
And, that's back before I could afford to get somebody to come out and do it. I'm out there scrubbing and bleaching, and I'm like, ooh.
All we do is open doors. We don't do anything but open doors. Nothing else but open doors.
Oh, the things I've done. The places you'll go. Oh, all the things you'll do to sell a house.
You're not wrong. That's the thing. You take the picture off the wall, and it's the behind it's fine. It's just the yellow all around.
So bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But we got it done. You know what?
Of course.
We got it done. We got it cleaned. But that was definitely a challenge. And it was a challenge relaying to him, hey, guess what? I know you've been smoking in this house for 60 years, but we can't do it anymore because we're about to clean this. Oh my God. Ozone. I learned a lot that day. So,
I had a listing, and we were under contract, and the appraiser was coming out. So I go to meet the appraiser out, and the owner's son is there to let us in. Mm-hmm. And they never smoked in the house. When I listed the house, we go under contract, there's no smoke smell.
Yeah.
I get there, and I open the door, and it just smells like cigarette smoke. And I'm like, the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And the seller's son, he's like, oh, I wanted to grab a smoke real quick, so I went in the garage. I didn't think it would smell.
Oh, for the love.
I'm like,
I've had the college boys.
Man.
I walk in and I'm like, they just totally puff down here. And I'm like, really? Like, come on, guys. I've gone in with a buyer and the buyer's like, Yes, it smells like that. Yes, we can get rid of that. Oh,
I don't know. If I go in to smell weed, I'm like, I'm going to be like Santa Claus. Like you left me a little bit on the table or something.
I love it. So going into 2025,
yes.
What do you think was the biggest thing that you learned from 2024 that you'll take into 2025 that'll help you have a more successful year?
For me, it is learning to go back to trust my instincts with certain people and certain things. And that is from a forward-facing view as well as from a business standpoint.
Sure.
I feel like in 24, I allowed certain things to happen, personally, business-wise, that I should never allowed to happen.
Sure.
And then I allowed that to derail some shit for me.
Sure.
So going into 25, I'm really fucking good at my job. I'm not second guessing who I am or how I do things. And I don't give a fuck how it looks to anybody else.
Right.
And it's getting back to,
The purpose.
I'm Jesse motherfucking Kage.
Yes, it's the purpose.
And I'm here to make
this.
sure that I'm doing the right thing for my family, my buyers, my sellers. These are my family. The Kage Collective, it's not just bullshit. We don't just say it. This is about being family. And the best way that I can serve my people is by being the best that I can be. And I know that's cliche and that's silly and that's all these fucking things.
Yeah, but I think 2024 brought out the crazy in a lot of people. When money's tight,
of course,
and things like that are happening in the market, like people that I didn't necessarily think had issues, they got issues.
Yeah.
Woo, they got issues.
They got issues.
If you look all over Instagram and social media, you're like, there's a lot of people that got issues.
Right. And they love sharing it.
Oh my God.
Like, knock it off,
enough.
It's the couple who breaks up and gets all their bullshit out on social media.
I don't want your dirty laundry.
Don't care.
Dude.
Yeah, keep your shit to yourself, man.
Yeah, the people who think that social media is like real life, come on, man.
It's all a facade. For me, it's just going back to remember who I am. It's the Lion King, remember who you are.
Yes, Simba, you got this.
That was the perfect Lion King quote.
Right. We'll put you up like this. Yeah. Oh my God.
So you.
Okay. So, I think that
I don't know why we just have crickets.
I know. Where's our sound effects, Jesse? God. It's not listening. I think, 2024, same kind of thing as you. I think I learned a lot, not even just professionally. I think personally,
yes.
We're all talking about keeping your circle small, protecting the peace, all those kinds of stuff, because a lot of crazy, what I've realized is everything is mindset. Mm-hmm. Everything. I don't care if you have all the clients in the world and all the money in the world, you are not going to get this job done with the wrong mindset.
Correct.
And so when those people are controlling your mindset or influencing your mindset, it's time to get rid of that. So that was definitely that. But I think for me, what I realized is, holy shit, there are so many people doing this job that don't know what they're doing anymore. And I think we all talk about it. We're like, what happened to the good agents? And so, and I'm not tooting any horns, but I will tell you, like, when I get to work with someone that, I know it has a good reputation, like I call them and I'm like, I can't wait to work with you again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like refreshing. And what I've realized is a lot of these agents that are in the market right now are leaving the market right now.
In droves,
which is necessary.
Yeah.
The skill, the lack of skill, the lack of mastery, the lack of growth, because they've just, been able to get away with it.
Right.
It looks so easy. Oh, I can just open doors and I can just stick a lockbox on and I don't even have to tell you that you have to fix your roof.
Right. No, you get 40 offers and you're out the door.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
Yep.
And I think that showed in all the fall throughs from last year because nobody could keep it together to get it over the goal.
Correct.
And so what I've learned and what I'm taking into Collective in 25 is, hey, it's time to fucking skill up again.
Yeah.
Like, we're not messing around anymore. Mm-hmm. Success isn't just that, you're making money and you're doing this kind of thing. It's becoming part of those people's circle.
Right.
And, we're working on Buffini and the certified full service client, scheme thing. And it's really enlightening. Like, it's not everybody has goals and everybody wants to make money and everybody wants to do this stuff, but I want to be part of that circle.
Yeah.
Like when someone says, should I buy an Airbnb? Ooh, I was watching HGTV. I want to buy an Airbnb. Or what about this? Or maybe I should do that. Like, I want to be that phone call.
Yeah.
Just like when I'm having thoughts about finance or I want to invest in whatever, I'm going to call my financial advisor. When I'm aching in my hip because I'm old as shit, I'm going to call my doctor. Right. But when someone's like,
you're looking for the best bar, you call me.
That's right. I'm going to call Jesse and ask him about the beer. Like, why not? But like, I want to be that person when they're like, okay, you know what? My daughter's going off to college. I don't need this huge house anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to clean this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to call me and be like, hey, Lindsey, what do you think? Why don't you come over and look? I love when people are like, can you come over and just walk the house? I mean, we're not ready to sell or whatever, but I love that they call me even when it's not time to sell a house.
That's the trust, right? That's the making of the
circle
family.
Trust.
Correct.
The small circle of trust.
It's,
and
100%.
that's what I'm trying to do in 25, that I feel like so many agents have just completely lost track of everything. And so I'm glad that at Collective, I mean, we are fired up. People are back in here. They're going to learn their lessons of 24. And even if they haven't been in the business, we're around enough people in the business that are doing this at a high level, even when the market was shit.
Right.
And we're all growing again. And that's what we're going to need to do. And that's what I really learned. I did not realize how bad it was.
Yeah, it's funny because you said that when you get to make that phone call to that agent that
it's
just so refreshing. And then even the ones that you don't know, on that first phone call if this is going to fucking work out.
Oh, yeah.
And generally I say, fuck pretty fast. And if they respond to that, I'm like, oh, you're my people.
That's right.
Like, this is good. And it goes back to, again, remembering that the person on the other side, they're competition for a second, man. But you got to hold hands and get to the finish line together, right? The arrogance, though. There's this arrogance of when you call and like, you start having the conversation immediately.
Yeah.
There's this one cat who was going to do, he was on the buy side and he was going to put an offer in on one of our listings for one of my agents. And at this point, with the way the world is with NAR and the settlement and all that stuff, it's not just out there. So you have to ask, hey,
right.
Are you guys offering a compensation? Yep. What is that? And, how are you going to do it? Blah, blah, blah. And so he calls and he asks, and our agent was offering 2.5 to the other side.
Sure.
Taking 2.5, offering 2.5.
Right.
Nice and even. Good.
Yep.
Everybody fucking loves
Everybody's
that.
Happy.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Let's do it. And he's like, well, I'm a 3%er. I'm a 3%er.
Oh my God. What?
Fuck you.
Yeah. It's like
I'm
the 1%er in the tax bracket.
Come on. I'm a 3.
If you are, you're not saying that.
That's exactly right. And again, if you want to negotiate up, this is why, again, you're having a conversation with your buyer. Yes. Go ahead and make sure that your buyers understand the whole process, what you bring to the table, and see if they'll pony up the other 0.5.
Or you know what? Write a really strong offer and negotiate 3.
Try to negotiate it in. That's
because my
100%.
sellers would gladly pay you 3% if you don't come in and try to lowball them.
Correct. You've got to make sure. But that's the thing.
Why am I giving you 3%? Where's your value?
That's what I'm saying. Again, you're a 3%er because you got it a couple times. That doesn't make you a 3%er. Awesome. There's no such thing as any of this. Again, nothing is set, people. It's all negotiable. That's the reality here.
Yeah. I had a lady say that the other day. I was offering, and it was 2% in the compensation. And she's like, well, would they take 2.5 or 3%? I said, I can't tell you that. I'm like, it's really, make the offer.
Right.
It's negotiable. And she's like, well, I need 2. And I said, listen, that's your negotiation between your buyer and what they offer. Correct. I'm like, I can't make that conference, I can't make that decision for my seller. But it's funny because they're just like, what? I'm like, oh, God help us.
You just got to learn. And they're going to learn or they're going to be out.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're a lot of them, like you said, they're already leaving in droves. And, I don't want to see anybody lose their gig. I don't want to see that. But at the end of the day, this is not for everybody.
And it's not as easy as we've made it look for very long.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And the good agents do make it look easy because we've talked about the fact that there's certain things that we don't say during the certain parts of the process that because you're trying to protect. Like, oh, that's so easy. I'm like, well, sure, but we shielded you from this because you would have lost your fucking mind had you known some of these things.
Well, they talk about how, real estate is one of the most stressful, like when you're buying or selling a house that, they say that's one of the most stressful processes in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think we feel?
Correct.
Like we live, breathe, sleep, eat real estate. So if you think it was stressful, think about what we went through in order to make that as less stressful for you. It's a lot.
It's a lot. But you know what? But we do it because this goes back to the fact that we love what we do. We love our people, and we go to the floor for our people.
Yeah, I love a good challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, and I think that's what's so cool about this job is that every single deal is different. Every single time you do it, a little thing changes something, and you learn. Or you don't, and
you do,
then
though.
you
even when you fail, you learn.
Yeah, but
not gonna do that again.
But some agents don't take that on. That's the problem. They don't take that on. You want to make sure. You fail, you learn, and then you move forward.
Yeah.
There's just some agents that just, hey, it's the bottom line. Let's get to the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I talked on a video that I did earlier this week or last week, and just about the way some agents do things and the bait and switch and all this shit. And it's like, just be better, man. Yeah. We need to be better.
Just be better
as an industry, and that way we all, again, hand in hand, we can get to the end.
Yeah, we all stick together. 2025 is going to be a great year for those of us who stick together. Like, as listing agents, we're going to support buyer agency.
Absolutely.
Right? Why wouldn't we?
Yes.
Like, I don't think it's always fair to just be representing one side because somebody thinks they're saving money. Absolutely not. It doesn't work like that. So I think we all have to support each other, but I also, for those who refuse and have that ego that they're not going to learn or grow or master their skill, are going to end up falling off really quickly. And, sometimes we can't fix it anymore.
Correct.
What we talked about that too. You and I and, a lot of us that we surround ourselves like to help. We like to help people get to the next level, and we like to see them succeed almost more sometimes than my own.
Correct.
But sometimes it's just not worth it. They don't want it because they're not listening and they're not growing and they're not participating. And at some point you have to cut that off.
And that's goes back to what I'm taking into 25.
I know.
That's just, it's time to
be the butterfly, Jesse.
Yeah, man. Well, hard decisions.
Okay, you're not a butterfly. You're gonna strap a rocket to your ass.
Yeah,
so
I just love. I love people, and I give people the benefit of the doubt
always.
And
I don't want that to change. And what we've learned from like the social circles is, we've gotten to where we are because we do like helping and people, and we've all been burned one way or another, but.
But there is a limit.
Don't change. Yeah, of course.
There's a fucking limit.
That is the lesson of it.
And correct. I've learned.
Don't change the way you are.
No.
Learn the lesson and then cut it off when you see it.
Correct. And that's what I've been bad at. I've been bad at just cutting it off because I love.
Yeah.
I just fucking love, man.
And we think that we start with everybody's good.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And then until we're proven wrong. So.
Right. And I just want, because we want them to get to the finish line. I want them so bad to get to the finish line.
I know you can do this, but.
So, yeah, tough love in 24.
That's right.
But I'm excited,
it's
Lindsey.
Great. I'm excited.
This is, I'm glad that we're doing this. We are going to get more consistent.
We're better now. We are thriving in 25, not surviving.
Absolutely. So I don't know how long this episode is. I don't care. I think this was fun.
Yeah.
A
little bit of insight about what's to come, what happened.
Absolutely.
And off we go.
We're going to get some lenders in here to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to get insurance people in here to talk.
We're going to get some agents to share their fun stories about like the poop house and the smokehouse.
Absolutely.
And all the things.
So thanks for taking the ride with us, guys. Collectively Real. Hit us up. Drop comments. Like and subscribe. All the things that you're told on every fucking podcast you listen to. Do those things for us too.
Yeah, and if you find something interesting, or hey, if you're a real estate agent and you have something actually of value to say, hit us up.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
We'll bring you in.
Hell yeah.
We'll do fucking
the
little
more the
teeny
merrier.
shots with you.
Collaboration at its finest.
Lindsey does the big one. I'll do the small one over here. It's all good.
That's right.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.